Hi everyone, my name's Sabrina and I'm going to be showing you how to do an ombre buttercream cake because the customer has the toppers already, so we're just doing the base of it and then they'll finish it off with the decorations. So nice and easy, we're going to use the Baker's buttercream so that we can save time and actually it ends up working out cheaper than making it yourself. So less mess, less time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop it out. So it just looks like that inside into a bowl. And we're going to do the bottom of the cake, the darker blue. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put that bit of icing in there. And I like to use color meal. I do have some of this one left over, so I'm going to finish this one off first because it's a lighter blue, sky blue. So just put a few drops in there like that. And then I'm going to mix it up. It does seem a bit like tough in the beginning, so it takes a bit of time to actually work the buttercream. It's not as smooth as when you make it yourself, but it just sets so nicely. So I'm just going to mix it all in. And then what I'm going to do, so I think that's dark enough. I'm going to put a few more drops in because it is the bottom part. As you can see, I've already made two 8-inch cakes and cut off the tops. And I've just used white truffle ganache on the base so that the cake doesn't move. And I've also put some white truffle ganache in between the layers just to help that stick and also add a bit of extra flavor. So I kind of left a bit of streaks in there because it is meant to be like a water look. So I'm just going to use the disposable bag, cut off the tip. And just put that in my piping bag. I'll just start off with that. I don't like to overfill my bags because then I find it's really hard to squeeze it. So I just come over to my cake and just pipe a line. Just like that. And just keep going layer to layer. I have really bad hands, so it's really hard to squeeze the piping bag, but we'll get there. Let's get the rest in there. It's like playing with Play-Doh. Okay. Just keep piping. Doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to be smoothing out the scraper. Now, I've run out, which is good because I want it to become a bit lighter now, the next level. So just put some more white in my bowl. And this time I'm only going to put one drop in because obviously I want it to be lighter. So I'm just going to mix that up. It's really hard to mix. Need stronger hands like mine. I'll use another bag because I don't want the darker color to be in there. So that's a bit lighter, as you can see. It's okay if it's a bit white because like I said, we're trying to make it look a bit like sea waves. So there is a bit of mix of white and blue. It filled up a bit too much, that's why it's coming out the top. And we just keep adding on the top. And as you can see, as it comes around, it is slightly getting lighter. just fill it in. But if I was going to use fondant, I would make sure that it is completely filled in with the ganache. So I'm just a little bit short. I'll scrape the rest from the bowl. Not much left, but that's okay because we will be hopping to another color shortly. And everything I use you can find on my website, ANS, well I guess it's AS Cake Decorating Essentials.com.au. You can also find me on Facebook. That's it. That's the tiniest bit gone. So I'm going to get rid of that bowl and the rubbish. Wash my hands, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back and now I'm going to do the top layers with the white. So I'm just going to take that straight from the tub, nice and easy. Now you can see what I mean. I used to spend so long with icing sugar and butter and everything, whipping it all up. And the volume of cakes that I make now, it just takes too long. And this is just more cost efficient, I find. So just with the white now, around the edges. And most important, it's delicious. Everyone's been telling me. Been using Bakers for a while now. Grab some more from the tub. The hardest part is reopening the bag and trying to fill it in without getting icing all over your fingers. And I usually find one tub is enough to ice one cake, or about 40 or odd cupcakes, because I like to use a lot of icing on my cupcakes. Okay, so just going to fill that gap. Keep going across. If there's a tiny bit of blue mixing through, that's okay. Goes with the theme of this cake. So I believe they're having like a Lilo and Stitch theme. So they've got all those toppers ready to go. You know, you can manually put the buttercream on as well, but I find if I pipe it, it's just so much easier to keep it all contained. Easier with the white because we just keep filling up the bag. And as you can see, we're almost at the end of the tub, so it's a perfect amount for a tall 8-inch cake. I just struggle with the squeezing. Put that in the center. I might just plonk a bit in the center like that. Okay, so I'm just going to wash my hands and then I'm going to smooth the cake over. Okay, I'm back, so I'm just going to use my scraper. I'm going to start with the top and just make circular motions. I've got a bowl here for excess. Now, because I don't want it 100% smooth, I'm not too concerned. And then I'm going to start with the side. And just start with the top bit first. Go all the way around. Scrape it off. Sliding off the turntable because it's a 10-inch board and it's a bit small on the turntable. Okay, keep scraping through. I might just wipe the top bit because I don't want the glue to go too much on the top. So I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to wipe that over and gently fold in the top. But because we're going for the wavy look, I don't want it to be 100% smooth. It needs to look a bit ruggedy. Happy with that. I'm also going to leave a bit of the buttercream on the board, and I'll show you soon why I've done that. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get a spoon, and I'm just going to use the spoon and run it like this, make a bit of waves. Right there. Make it a bit watery. Take off the blue when I go to the white part. I'm just gonna turn it and go up and down. There we are. So it kind of gives that sea look. And then we're going to put some little white pearls. As you can see, they're like an off-white, and I'm just going to put them randomly on the cake, and it just looks so pretty. So my husband finds these beads all over the floor. Try to vacuum them up, but they still appear randomly everywhere. Okay, so I think that's enough for now. If I want some more later, I'll put some more on. And so what I'm going to do, let me just tidy up a little bit here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do around the edges and a bit around the top. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm ready to do the next step. So I've got my milk arrowroot biscuits. I love Arnott's. And I'm just going to grab a whole heap for now and put them in a Ziploc bag. You're probably wondering, what is she doing? I'm going to get a meat basher and smash up the biscuits. Obviously be careful not to smash the bag too much that you rip a hole. Just take your time. I've probably made too much, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is get a teaspoon, and where I've got all the buttercream smeared along the bottom, I'm going to place it like that and make it look like sand. Tasty sand. And do that all around the base. So easy, and just gives it that finishing touch. It's a little bit messy, but clean up at the end. There we are. And then she wants some sprinkled around the top. Half on my kitchen bench, but that's okay. And then when she puts the Lilo and Stitch figurines, it'll just look so cute. I'll take the big pieces out that didn't smash. And that's the C done. And just another little thing I want to add. I'm just going to make a few little seashells to put around the edge, and then we're finished. Okay, and so for the final part of the cake, I'm going to make a few seashells. So I've got my seashell molds, and I've got some of these on my website as well. And I've put some corn flour inside just so that they don't stick. And I have a little bit of white baker's fondant, something I also sell, and a tiny bit of brown fondant. And I'm just going to knead that in because I want it to have like a bit of not really white look, and I'm not going to completely put it through. I want it to have a bit of textured look, and I'll show you what I mean when I make them. Usually the kids like to join in because they love making little figurines. That's how easy they are. No, not now. My daughter's watching and she's wanting to join in. So as you can see, it's not a complete smooth white or brown. It's a bit of mixture. So I'm just going to grab a little bit, and all you got to do is put it in the mold like that. Massage it through to the edges, as you can see, and then it just pops out, and it's a beautiful seashell, and we can just place it on the bottom there like that. So I want a few different ones, so I'll do a couple of these big ones, place them around. So just massage it in. Make sure it's all flat, and then just pop it out. Perfect seashell, and just place it on the cake. I won't put any on the top because she's going to be putting those figurines. So I'll do one more that size. Oh, I might show you some different shaped seashells because I don't think you want to watch me do them all because they do take a little bit of time. And then I'll show you the finished product at the end. So that's the smaller one. That's a really cute spiral shell. And then we can do this one. Just make sure it's all flat. And because of the corn flour, it's the perfect looking shell. And a bit of a different shape. A long looking one, and then so many pretty different shapes. And you know, if it was like a mermaid cake or something, you could do all different color seashells in all different shapes just to give it that extra effect, and they look so realistic. They look amazing. And I'll just try this last one. Sometimes when the molds are a bit thin, it's hard to get that shape. I have to stick it in there. And that's so pretty. So I'll see you back in a few minutes. I'm going to continue making these and I'll show you the finished project. Okay, so this is the finished product. It looks quite simple because obviously my cousin has to put all the other bits and pieces on it. But as you can see, we've done the ombre, the buttercream, the sand with the biscuits, and the beautiful seashells. If I just turn that around slowly, you can see I've done it equally around all edges. And hopefully she'll send me a picture and I'll be able to show you all. And that's it for now. So my daughter doesn't want to be in the video today, but she wants to show you the seashell that she made just to show you how easy it is. She's only 10 and this is her little seashell.
That's my little seashell. I did it with the grey mold that you can get on her website. That little one. And it is very easy to do. Just make sure you don't eat too much of it.
That's the problem.
Don't eat it all.
So watch out for my next video. Bye for now.